I would say passionate, I would say inclusive, I would say optimistic, and definitely persistent. Hi, I'm Neha Bagaria, the founder and CEO of Herkey, formerly JobsForHer. I'm born and brought up in Bombay in a typical Marwari family. On the one side, I had my dad, who was, ambitious businessman. On the other side, I had my mom, who was a devoted housewife. But for me, my biggest influence actually came from both of them. It was actually a very interesting play of thinking big and still caring deeply about the family and home. My upbringing has been surrounded by different entrepreneurs. And as a little girl, I always dreamed that one day I will be an entrepreneur too. And growing up, I read a lot about Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, later on Malala. And it's just started shaping my thoughts and my beliefs that one individual, if that individual so decides, can make a huge impact and change in the world. And I think slowly that seeded the idea of social entrepreneurship in my head. And today, finally, that's where I ended up. When I was pregnant with my first kid, I had never thought I'll stop working. I was a raging full-time mom. After 3.5 years of being on a break, it took a lot for me to be able to get back to work. And only when I went through that journey myself, I realized what so many other women are going through. And that's when I started researching the problem. And I was shocked to find out that in India, we have only 15% of women participating in the workplace in urban India. Male participation rates in India are 80%. Frankly, once I saw these numbers in front of me, it was very, very clear and obvious that this has to change. I realized that somebody's got to do something about it. Why should that somebody not be me? And that's when I decided to, start this company. It was literally to make sure that we have enough job opportunities for women on a break. And then today, we are building actually the largest community of women who want to work in India. First, inspiring and motivating them to work, then readying them to work, and then finding the work. In fact, over time, we have gone even further in that pipeline, because now it's not just about getting women back to work. It's also the women who are currently working. How do we make sure that they get to stay engaged in their careers, and how do they rise in their careers? So today, if you look, our tagline has been Start, Restart, Rise. Starting with my father, of course, in terms of pushing me to achieve my dreams, in terms of even dreaming big, and in terms of then helping me fund those dreams. That was the biggest supporter, which came in the form of my father. Second big supporter was my brother. He's the founder of a very successful tech startup as well, and started it before I did. And he's the one who not only convinced me that I need to solve this problem using technology, but showed me the way as well. And third, of course, has to be my husband. Because like Sheryl Sandberg says, make your life partner a real partner. It is so important that I have somebody like him who's my real partner in this journey and can share the load through the way. You know what, when any person starts their entrepreneurial journey, there are lots of hurdles, right? But I think as a woman entrepreneur, and then you add on another layer of a mom entrepreneur, there's whole different hurdles altogether. And for me, I think my biggest problem was that at that point, I actually thought that family and career was on a seesaw. Thanks to being the founder of JobsForHer and Herkey, only later on I realized that this is actually a flywheel. As my work becomes better and better, my family gets better also, because they gain so much from it. And as I gain so much from my family, I get better at work too. When I started the company, I started it specifically for women like me, which was women who wanted to get back to work after taking a break. On one side, there were companies that said they don't want to hire women, they don't want to hire women returnees, they don't want to hire mothers. And when I asked them why, they said, because they won't prioritize their careers enough. On the other side, I had women who felt that taking this gap is actually the worst thing that they could have done, and they don't remember anything that they had done earlier. They don't think they can manage their careers again. So there was all these naysayers in the market itself, and then there were all these naysayers around me. You just have to listen to the naysayers, hear them out, and then go do what you need to do. I think one thing that I've learned from my entrepreneurial journey is the importance of perseverance. Like, we've been the largest players in the space for a while now. But at some point, I used to wonder, are we the biggest fools? Because it was such a difficult space to be in. But for us, it's always been the vision first. We were perseverant. We were still the largest players when the tide turned. And suddenly, we were riding the wave. When things hit rock bottom, we just need to remember that you gotta hit against that rock bottom and rise up. I think my special X factor is the fact that I can work really well using my heart and my head. Yeah, and that's where, because one without the other would be incomplete. When we dream, it's important to think about what is really needed, what is your heart desire, and then how do we convert that with the right financial model and the right metrics going forward. I met Vani in 2016, a year after I had started JobsForHer. And when I met her, just the insights that she managed to give me in a 45-minute coffee session with her was just mind-blowing. She's such an inspirational, motivational woman. And since then, she's mentored me through the entire journey. Impact and achievement. Of course, Vani. And my dad. The ability to just keep going and the ability to know when to stop. Always the long term. Yeah, whenever any important decision comes up, it's always good to close your eyes and imagine 3 years later, 5 years later, and then make that decision.